if you have zero recruiting experience like myself, I would have had to learn every single step from the beginning. Whereas I was able to accelerate that learning. And who knows, I might have saved myself 6 months. I might have saved myself a year. Who knows what that ends up being. But, that's what I found really valuable is that materials are easy to understand. The live coaching calls are very helpful and the community itself is helpful. So I've gotten potential business from even my own peers within the community, just reaching out and saying, hey, Kevin, can you help me?
All right, we're here with Kevin Savage, Recruitemy member from 3.14 Consulting. Kevin, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, doing great today. Thanks so much for being here and kind of sharing your story about your journey before Recruitemy, coming into Recruitemy. What's helped you so far in the program, and maybe start with a little bit about you and your background and what you did prior coming into the program.
Yeah, so I've worked as an executive in finance for health insurance companies for the last 20 years. And for me, although it paid well, I always wanted more freedom, whether that be through passive investments in real estate and things like that, or just creating and starting my own company. And that's why, I reached out to Russ and, started my own recruiting agency within the niche that I was, comfortable with, finance and actuarial within the insurance space.
Yeah. And Kevin, did you have any recruiting background prior to launching your recruiting business?
No, zero experience. And I'm the type of person that, I try to streamline and save myself as much time as possible. So if you go to the gym and you never lifted weights, you may want to consider, hiring a personal trainer. And I'm that same way with something I've never done before. So, you know,
Yeah. That's awesome. No, good stuff. Did you hear about recruiting, or did you have to work with a recruiter at your business? Like, what made you think of recruiting? Or was it just kind of like surfing YouTube and finding an ad or something?
yeah, I originally started out because I saw how much temporary staffing agencies were charging for frontline accountants. And I thought, geez, if all I did was start my own agency and charge that, that would be a pretty good living. But then I went into this rabbit hole of recruiting, started following people like you, Russ, seeing how lucrative it could be once you get established. And, that became attractive to me as well.
Yeah. I got to tell the audience, I'm really big on transparency and integrity. And I want to share that I received a message from you today with hesitation in doing this video because you haven't made a placement yet. And I think that's awesome. And I think it's good to let everyone know that not every one of our testimonial videos, we come on and brag about how much money a member's making and all the placements they're making. Like, recruiting and staffing is not the easiest thing in the world. And I'm pretty transparent about that online. But thank you for expressing that. And, I know I talked to you today about, hey, it's okay. Like, I think you sharing what's helped you so far with our community, the coaching, LinkedIn stuff would be really valuable for people out there that were once in your same shoes, that don't have recruiting background, but are thinking about starting it. Like, what's helped you so far along that journey?
Yeah, so I mean, the program has everything mapped out. So if you have zero recruiting experience like myself, I would have had to learn every single step from the beginning. Whereas I was able to accelerate that learning. And who knows, I might have saved myself 6 months, I might have saved myself a year. Who knows what that ends up being? But, that's what I found really valuable is that, the materials are easy to understand. Um, the live coaching calls are very helpful, and the community itself is helpful. So I've gotten potential business from even my own peers within the community, just reaching out and saying, hey, Kevin, can you help me, recruit on a particular position? You've got this finance background, et cetera. And although some of those have fallen through for various reasons, it's still an opportunity. So yeah, that's what I've found most valuable is just the streamlining of the learning, from someone who's, been successful in that sector and in that business.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you. And you really picked up on the one-on-one personalized videos through Dub. I know you really got into that. You were shooting a lot of videos. You had your video page set up really nice, and with your branding. How have the videos been for you?
They've been pretty good. I've found that at least in 2024, most of the outreach and feedback that I received were from people interested in their own careers. So I'd get a message from a VP of actuarial at some insurance company or some ancillary healthcare company to insurance, and they'd say, "Hey, I actually am not hiring anyone right now, but I'm looking myself." So it's more of those
Yeah.
types of things, and I'm hopeful in 2025 that that can pick up and turn the table on the other side of the coin here.
Absolutely. And then are the MPC strategy, the most placeable candidate templates that you have you really been using those and leveraging those from for prospecting to get new clients?
So the challenge in my particular niche is that it's such a small universe that a lot of the candidates that I've spoken to aren't comfortable creating a video and things like that because that they know each other,
Right.
within the
Hmm.
industry. So I haven't utilized that as much as, say, if I found someone who was unemployed, an actuary that was unemployed, had a bunch of experience looking for a job, and I was like, hey, let's really get aggressive with this. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, so yeah, so I have not utilized that as much as I should have.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I remember because your niche is so micro niche that it's tough. Like you have a lot of A player passive candidates that can't really expose themselves. So it's like online with their name or where they're working right now. I do remember that now. Um, but what about so all the LinkedIn stuff that we've been doing recently, can you speak to that as far as the custom, GPTs that are now created? And you putting content out there and the boost squad, has that kind of helped things for you as far as a brand authority?
Yeah, I think so. And some of the stuff, like I'm just of the mindset like none of this happens overnight. It takes time, it takes posting every day. But yeah, there's bringing Parker in, I think was really valuable. So he's got a LinkedIn strategy, shows you how to automate posts but still make them your own and build authority on LinkedIn and hopefully to get inbound business, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. I mean, it takes a lot of work to do outbound marketing.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the stuff's uncomfortable and everything else, which I do think people should learn. But hey, this is another piece of it that says, well, what about inbound? What happens if at some point I got VPs of actuarial contacting me and saying, hey, I've been following you on LinkedIn. I've got a couple jobs to source. It looks like you're the exact person that I need to fill these.
Yeah. No, good stuff. Yeah, Kevin, thanks so much for sharing all this. What would you tell the person that was in your shoes a few months ago that is seriously considering starting their own recruiting or staffing agency?
Well, that's an interesting question because I haven't found success so far myself. But I think in any business, just realistically, you're not going to come into something and 2 weeks later you're making $1 million a year. Anything worth doing takes time, and I was committed to putting in that time and that effort and the work. Um, so yeah, I would say that if you want to build a life of freedom, I think you need a plan. Now, I don't know what that plan should be. For me, it happened to be recruiting and, like I said, real estate investing and some other things that I'm doing. But if you think that this is something that you'd be good at, you know, I think this program streamlines things for you in a way that can really accelerate that time frame.
Thank you. Yeah, and I thank you for showing up every week to the coaching calls that we do. You're always there, you're present, you're participating. You've been instrumental in those calls from a leadership perspective too. And I see how you've had a lot of camaraderie in the community. So I thank you for that. I think it's really going to help you get that result that's going to come here soon. I know it will. Hang in there. Recruiting is challenging and nothing happens overnight. So I appreciate your honesty, your transparency with everybody out there. And I'm honored to have you in the membership base, Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Russ.
You got it. Have a great day.
Yep, you too. Bye.